Hi, my name is Anthony Rowen, lead engineer at Capture H2O, and I'm going to be teaching you about the hybrid program. So the hybrid program utilizes what's known as a physical water conditioner. It's this device here. You can see it mounts on the outside diameter of your condenser open loop piping. And this device will act as your mechanism for controlling scale corrosion and bacteria with limited chemical supplementation. So this device gets mounted on the outside diameter of your pipe through structural supports, don't have to cut into any piping, and you simply plug it into a 120 volt outlet in the wall, and it acts just like a transformer. But instead of stepping down a voltage from a primary to a secondary transformer, this device steps down the voltage from the primary transformer, the hydroflow itself, to the secondary transformer, which is actually the water in the system. It's a very simple installation, increases cycles of concentration to typically double what you're currently getting, but with significantly reduced chemicals, typically 20% of what you were just using. Now on the next slide, I'm going to be talking about the 3 steps to how this works. So step 1, it will manipulate the charge of the calcium and magnesium ions in the water to be attracted to each other instead of being attracted to the equipment in your system. As you'll see, as we're inducing a charge into the water, these ions will stay precipitated in the solution, but start to crystallize and become suspended in the water. Instead of caking on your equipment, the hybrid program will manipulate the charges of the ions to be attracted to each other, preventing the ability for scale to form and impact the heat transfer efficiency in a system. When we're using this field to control the scaling ions, we're able to increase cycles of concentration without sacrificing the scaling control in a system. The next step is corrosion. So for corrosion control, if you think back to physics class and your right-hand rule, when we're inducing a field, the field is strongest in the center line of your pipe. This causes all the current that's getting induced into the system to sweep to the inner diameter of the pipe and proliferate upstream and downstream. It's very challenging for ions to jump across a high current flow. That's all corrosion is. Ions that are getting transferred between water and metals on your piping. So by inducing this field into the water to manipulate the charge of the scaling ions, we also get a high current flow on the inner diameter of the pipe. And this high current flow allows us to control for corrosion without utilizing a corrosion control inhibitor. Lastly, bacteria. When we charge the bacteria cells that are getting passed through the system, as that pure layer of water is settling on the cell's membrane, it's going to slowly force its way in through osmotic pressure and cause the cell to burst and die. So instead of using biocides and corrosion inhibitors and scale inhibitors to control the system, we're utilizing this oscillating coaxial magnetic field that will charge the scaling ions, utilize current to control for corrosion, and charge the bacteria cells to control for bacteria. Because we're not relying on the chemicals to control this system, we're able to increase our cycles of concentration to 2x what they were before. Now we still will feed supplemental chemicals for this program, typically around to 20% of what you were once feeding, but the water savings and chemical savings speak for themselves. So when we install the hybrid program at your facility, we don't just snap our fingers and double cycles and reduce chemicals to 20% what they once were. It's an iterative process that we work with your on-site team to accomplish. Over 90 days, we will go from current cycles to double your current cycles, and from 100% chemical feed to 20% chemical feed. For the first 30 days, the first month of operation, we'll sit on our hands and keep the system as is. 30 days, we'll reduce the chemical feed 25% and increase cycles 25%, so on and so forth, until we are at double your current cycles and 20% your chemical feed. One question we often get is those crystals, are they gonna clog up my equipment? The answer is yes if you don't have side stream filtration, which is why we say double your current cycles of concentration. It's a very conservative estimate. We have sites that have gone 5 times their current cycles with great success, and in some cases no chemicals, but they have side stream filtration to capture those crystals and remove them from the system in that regard. If your system does not have side stream filtration, which is a best practice for any cooling tower system, we would conservatively model double your current cycles. But if you do have side stream filtration, there's opportunity to increase that to a further level. That's what you need to know about the Capture H2O hybrid program. Thank you for listening.